clock is going to be 18 inches wide, so let's measure out 18 inches. These squares here are 1 inch squares. So I'm going to use red markers for reference points. Marking every 5 squares. There's 5, 10, 15, and 18. The clock is going to be 11 inches high. Here's the center of the clock. This is 18, so 5, 10, that's 9. 9 is half of 18. So here's the center of the clock, doing the same thing going up. 5, 10, 11. Clock is 11 inches high. So let's draw those lines. I want to make these lines in red because I'm going to use these lines as reference points to draw the rest of the clock. That's the clock. The clock itself is going to be 6 inches in diameter. I know this because I found the clock parts on clockparts.com. And the one I want is 6 inches in diameter. So it's also going to have 1 inch of trim around it. So here's 1 inch. And the clock parts will be 6 inches in diameter, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the clock. The center of the clock is 3, so right here. So let's draw the clock. Marking my compass for 3. For the diameter, I'll draw the center of the clock. As I mentioned, the clock is going to have 1 inch of trim around the clock, but it's only going to go halfway around the clock. So let's 1 inch of trim around the clock will be right there. So let's draw that halfway around the clock. Went a little over right there. So halfway is right here and right there. Now the bottom of the clock, as I mentioned, is going to go like this. But it's not going to go all the way to this point because there's got to be a base for that clock. And that base is going to be 1 inch up. It's a piece of wood that'll be 1 inch thick, right there. So 1 inch. Right there. Now the clock is going to come something like this. Now, if you notice, there's 5 inches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 inches right here. Okay? Now, that means this center's got to be 5 inches in diameter. So let's set this for 5 inches. And this for 5 inches. The center of the clock, center of that circle is going to be right there. And that leaves us a little room here to trim off the bottom of the clock with a router. So coming up, right there.